Hey guys, welcome to day 55 of 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself. So this is a good short and sweet one. And this one is called Make Trouble Work for You. And there's a really good nugget in this one. So in this one, the author says, the author speaks for a long time about how one evening his 14-year-old daughter did not return home on her agreed upon curfew, and how the author, as a terrified father, set out looking for her, and how he was just, he was terrified and he was upset and he was disappointed and he had all these emotions going through him, and how while he was driving he was kind of brewing, like it was just manifesting inside of him. And so he just started to really get upset, and he saw himself slipping into the pessimistic side of his thinking. And so as he was driving around, he drove back past their house. And in so doing, he looked up and he could see in the bedroom that she had her light on, and he could see her silhouette moving around in the room. So he knew she was home. And instead of going in that state that he was in, he decided he needed to drive around and do his own therapy, or as I like to call therapy. So he did his own self-therapy, and he realized that he was thinking pessimistically. He had gone through all these scenarios of all these things that could happen, and then he went through all these scenarios of how she as a teenager was now, bear with me a moment guys, how she as a teenager was now rebelling and not listening to him. And so he just had all these horrible feelings, and he thought, I'm just going to drive and I'm going to get this out of me, and I want to stop thinking this way. So he kept driving. And as he was driving, he allowed all the negative, pessimistic viewpoints to happen. He kind of held space for them and just allowed them to be. Then he decided, all right, so how can I use this? How can I use this experience? And he decided in that moment to change his thinking, to flip it. And so by flipping it, he started thinking about all the good things about her, how all of her traits and all of the beautiful memories he had of her, about how she was true to her word and where she was, good in school, and how she, was good in sports and academics, and how, blah, 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 all the awesome parts. And so it allowed him to think through the negative and now enter into the state of optimism, because he knew that approaching this optimistically with the right outcome and not expecting the worst, having the right approach was going to be the difference between success and failure as he approached his daughter. So he thought, this will be good, because this will also give her experience in ruminating in this, that while I was, busy stressing about her, now she had the flip side experience of being, stressed about what was going to happen when Dad got home. So he got home. Of course, she's a 14-year-old, and she made up some excuse about how she didn't have her watch, blah, blah, blah. And they had a nice heated discussion about it. But what he shares next, I want to share with you, because I thought it was an awesome way for us to see how we can flip our thinking out of our pessimistic ways sometimes. He said that sometimes when we go through hard things, we see what seems like a bad situation, like when we break up, he gave an example of how this woman was skiing and she broke her leg, and, she's saying to herself, all these bad things always happen to me. But when she went to the hospital and got her leg set and everything, she fell in love with the doctor and they got married, and it was destined to happen. So see how these things, these bad things that sometimes can happen to you, you need to question, what can I learn from this, or what is in this for me? He says that what seems like a bad situation can sometimes turn out, and often does turn out, to be unexpectedly great. We begin to see the truth that every problem carries a gift inside of it, but half the battle is the awareness to acknowledge that while we're going through it, instead of waiting for the hindsight to come to teach us the lesson. Have the foresight to know that within this mess, I'm going to have an awesome lesson. So set some time aside and just kind of look for that lesson. By choosing to make use of a seemingly bad event, you can access the gift much sooner. By asking yourself, how can I use this? Or what might be good about this? You can turn your life around on a dime, instead of just, wallowing in your misery. So there you go. That's day 55. That was a good lesson. Short and sweet. Trust me, I spared you from the long story between him and his daughter. So ask yourself what you can learn from this. What is the lesson in whatever it is that you're going through? And know that a lot of times our biggest mess becomes our biggest message. There you go. Have a great day. Bye-bye.